Mexican Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard announced that he will tender his resignation from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on June the 12th and launch his bid to be ruling foreign presidential candidate. Social organizations rallied through the main Colombian cities to express their support for President Gustavo Petro and his labor and pension reform. The Russian government called Ukraine as responsible for the sabotage of the ammonia pipeline in the province of Kharkov, which is a key in the Black Sea grain deal. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll begin with the news. Stay with us. On Tuesday, the Mexican Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard announced he will tender his resignation for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on June the 12th and launch his bid to be the ruling party presidential candidate. Marcelo Ebrard formally announced his intentions to be the Morena's presidential candidate at a time when the ranks amongst the aspirations to the official candidacy has increased its intensities. The resignation to the public office held by the candidates is one of the conditions raised by President Andrés Manuel López Obrador during the meeting he held on Monday together with the aspirants to be presidential runners for Morena Party.
I have decided to request and submit my resignation to the Secretary of Foreign Affairs as of Monday, June 12th, next week, with the purpose of dedicating myself fully with joy and resolution to defend the project headed by our President Andrés Manuel López Obrador throughout the Mexican Republic.
Social organizations rallied through the main Colombian cities to express their support for President Gustavo Petro and his health, labor, and pension reform. In this sense, the head of state urged citizens to march not only in support of his policies, but also in rejection of impunity over war crimes. Among the organizations who participated in the mobilizations were the Central Union of Workers, the Confederation of Workers of Colombia, and the Colombian Confederation of Education Workers. Likewise, students, women's, and farmers' organizations ratified their opposition to the destabilizing actions by the Colombian right in an attempt to carry out a soft coup against President Gustavo Petro. On Monday, negotiators of the National Liberation Army, the ELN, wants civil society be part of the monitoring mechanism of the ceasefire being negotiated with the Colombian government in Havana. On a tweet, the National Liberation Army said that the people suffering from the war should be part of the monitoring mechanism. The ceasefire is one of the 3 items of the agenda of this round of talks, along with humanitarian relief, In Brazil, indigenous communities have traveled to Brasilia to the federal district to react to the initiative of Parliament and at the Supreme Court against their ancestral land rights. The mobilizations began on Tuesday and continue on Wednesday, where the plenary of the Federal Supreme Court is to resume the trial on the so-called temporary framework, which recognizes as indigenous lands only those that the native peoples occupied by October the 5th, 1988, when the current constitution was promulgated. A bill on this matter is going through Parliament and is pending debate in the Senate. On Wednesday, Chile's Constitutional Council will take office to draft a new constitution to replace the one imposed in the 80s by the dictatorship, where the foundations of the current neoliberal model are laid. The 51 members of the entity will work on the basis of a draft prepared by the Commission of 24 experts, who were appointed in equal parts from the Chamber of Deputies and Senators of the National Congress. The Constitutional Council has a period of 5 months to deliver the results, which will be submitted to a plebiscite with a mandatory vote on December the 17th. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has returned to Venezuela after a successful tour to Turkey and Saudi Arabia, in which he led new avenues for cooperation in strategic areas. In his Twitter account, President Maduro said that he has returned to Venezuela energized by the strengthening and support of two sister nations to continue working for social welfare. Maduro said he will remain firm in the struggle for the full recovery of the social welfare state built by the Bolivarian Revolution. Authorities of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization are in Venezuela to sign cooperation agreements with the government and to learn about the experiences of popular organization in the country. Details with our correspondent Lionel Retamal.
A few months ago, this neighborhood in Caracas was dominated by criminal groups. It is Cota 905, a popular neighborhood in the southwest of Caracas, which has been identified as one of the most dangerous. The FAO regional representative came here to learn about the experiences of its inhabitants.
And it has been useful for us to organize and empower our policies in the territory, as always wanted by our eternal president, Commander Hugo Chavez.
This is where the territorial organization and the various state programs converge. The community is self-managed, plans for social assistance, food support for pregnant women, and cultural and sports activities, among others.
Orientation, talks, breastfeeding. My mission is to empower women in their gestational state so that they can have a painless delivery and have a healthy baby.
The community comprises 5 community councils. We also take care of homeless people, of people in transit, of foreigners. We're always ready to provide them with a meal. The doctors working at the mission base and at the Romulo Betancourt ambulatory, which is nearby, we all look after them, the elderly, the children, people with disabilities, and pregnant women.
Venezuela maintains cooperation agreements with all United Nations agencies with FAO. They are working on gathering these community experiences together with the government's plans and the general guidelines of the United Nations.
For me, having arrived here today has put a human face on the challenge and problems. I have experienced other realities. Providing for people is the most important thing, and understanding the challenge that are being faced is our side of FAO as global agency on food security issues. What you would like to do is to support, and we are going to support as we are supporting the 33 governments of the region to get out of a situation to achieve what is being proposed, which is 2030, so that there is no more hunger and no more poverty.
Venezuela has developed its own plans to cope with the effects of the blockade and sanctions in terms of food by distributing food and intensifying its own productions.
The fundamental element in the document that we are carrying forward with the FAO is a matter of respect of sovereignty, a matter of seeing. In the case of the FAO, from the point of view of the organization, the United Nations system, of course, the sovereignty, the self-determination of the Venezuelan people.
Venezuela, together with FAO, is currently developing 12 national and regional support programs in agriculture, aquaculture, and training, among others. This will be strengthened and deepened until 2027.
teleSUR, Caracas, Venezuela.
Let's take a very short break now, but remember, you can now follow us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, in which you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. The Russian government on Wednesday denounced Ukrainian sabotage of the ammonia pipeline in the province of Kharkov, which is the key of the Black Sea Green Deal. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the latest explosion damaged the ammonia pipeline linked to the Russian city of Toledo and the Ukrainian city of Odessa. Authorities confirm several people were injured as a result of the explosion and are receiving medical attention. However, they did not provide an exact number of people affected. Local authorities in the Russian province of Kherson declared a state of emergency on Wednesday following the destruction of the Kharkov Dam. The attack on the hydroelectric plant early on Tuesday morning have caused massive ruptures and flooding. On the second day of floods, 7 people were confirmed missing and more than 2,500 houses were flooded. The regional authorities have rescued 20 people. The Russian Ministry of Investigation Department has stated a criminal inquiry into the terrorist attack. On Tuesday, over 10,000 Portuguese teachers nationwide went on strike, demanding higher paid and better working conditions. The National Education Confederation, along with 9 other teachers' unions, organized a march. The teachers, who have been protesting since late 2022, marched through Lisbon, the capital, and through Porto, the second largest city, calling for a cost of living adjustment aimed high inflation. Tuesday, the strike also forced most public schools to suspend classes. Portugal's inflation rate last year was 7.8%, the highest in 30 years, according to the Portuguese National Statistics Institute. teleSUR English continues to grow. You can now tune in from 33 different African countries through StarSat. Dial 461 and join our Latin American alternative broadcast. We'll follow a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Protesters against the removal of the subsidy in the city of Hangan in Angola escalating to deadly conflicts between taxi drivers and the police, resulting in 5 deaths and 8 injuries. According to the police statement, a total of 34 people were arrested and 29 motorcycles were seized for the direct involvement in the protest. Drivers' unions call on demonstrations against the increase in gasoline prices caused by the cancellation of fuel subsidies and the delay in delivering fuel subsidized cars to them, as was promised by the government. Ten people from the Democratic Republic of the Congo have been killed in an army attack of the university campus in Sudan. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, those killed were 10 Congolese refugees who died in a bombardment at Khartoum's International University of Africa. In this sense, the UN Refugee Agency condemned the killing, saying that the regular army that drops the bombs knew where there were foreigners inside the university. It also noted that trying to reach survivors who have fled the violence and giving them support is the agency's top priority, as well as the safety and security of all civilians. Bangladesh has shut thousands of schools as it struggles through its lengthened heat wave, last century, and widespread power cuts. According to the nation's meteorological department, temperatures in Accra have surged to around 40 degrees Celsius with a period during the burn of the blazing sun. On Monday, the country was forced to suspend operations at its biggest power plant because the government was unable to afford the coal of its full lead.
The situation is extremely challenging in this heat. I spend my entire day at work, and when I come back home, there are power cuts. I struggle to get a good sleep and end up staying awake for most of the night. It's difficult to maintain good health in such circumstances. Additionally, we are witnessing a decline in customers during this scorching heat, which exacerbates our problems.
I have two daughters, one in grade 1 and the other in grade 7. The grade 1 class has been suspended due to the heat wave, but the grade 7 class is still running as they have ongoing exams. It is crucial to hold the grade 7 class too, because the students are enduring significant hardship in this intense heat.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. For telesur English, I'm from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.